never know.
Black programs are secret government projects that are funded with billions of tax dollars with little or no oversight.
A warning, some of the images that you are about to see are graphic.
It was the mid to late 1970s. Cows were dying, and no one could explain why. The New Mexico Livestock Board didn't know.
One thing unusual about it is they seem to be healthy animals.
Ranchers across New Mexico didn't know either. People like Robert Burns of Naravisa, a tiny town just west of the Texas state line.
Well, I was curious to what the hell did happen. I wasn't even looking for the cow. I just came up on her.
Usually all swollen up. Its eyes, ears, tongue, soft tissue, sexual organs and stuff was missing from them.
It wasn't just here. The strange deaths were occurring in other states too. But eventually, New Mexico ended up at the center of the cattle mutilation mystery. Who or what was behind the deaths? UFOs, scavengers, a mysterious criminal enterprise, or secret government operatives?
With regards to the mutilations, they seem to fall, people seem to put them in these two categories. Either it's predators and natural causes, or it's, it's aliens picking them up and doing whatever they need to do. But this ignores a whole lot of evidence picked up by people, seen by people that are actually there and live there. Gabe Valdez actually showed me pictures and artifacts of things he'd found at mutilation sites, like a gas mask, like a small laser, battery-powered laser. What aliens are doing with packets of paper and radar chaff, gas masks, surgical devices, government-issued pens, things like that they found at these sites, I do not know.
The lungs were taken, the heart was taken out, and the leg was taken out.
His left ear was missing. His rectum had been cut.
And her genitals were gone and her ear was gone, so I knew it was a mutilation.
Eyewitnesses describe a consistent pattern. The cattle's udder, ears, eyes, and other soft parts are cut out. Blood is drained, but there are no signs of tracks, animal or otherwise, surrounding the body.
I think once if you get involved and you personally do it, and you see the true facts, then you change your mentalities.
As an officer of the law, Gabe Valdez swore an oath to protect and serve the community of Dulce, New Mexico. But nothing prepared him for the waves of cattle mutilations, sightings, and unexplained phenomenon happening in this small town.
I'm the only state police officer stationed in that area, and all the criminal matters would be referred to. When they mutilated a cow that belonged to Manuel Gomez from Dulce, he used to run cattle, and he went one day to check on him. He found out somebody had slaughtered his cow.
During the mid-70s, Gabe Valdez became the head investigator of the cattle mutilations of Ed Gomez's ranch in the small town of Dulce. The mutilations happened sporadically every few months until the 1980s, as confirmed by Norio Hayakawa.
And he was in the Dulce area since around the mid-70s up to probably the late 80s. So Gabe Valdez told me that he agreed to a theory of mine, which is to say that there is something over there and it may not involve physical aliens.
And we could see where the animal was lifted up from its legs, because it had clamp marks on the legs, and their legs were broken. I'm not saying it was a federal agency, but we were able to find some physical evidence at the crime scene. Gas masks, glow sticks, and some type of instrument that they were monitoring or whatever it was for. We couldn't determine what it was for, because it had to be some advanced scientists that knew what they were working on. Aluminum residue, tiny particles of aluminum, and they were finding them when they were mutilating cattle up there at the sheriff's office. But we also found them here in New Mexico, in its radar shack.
These tiny slivers of aluminum and other metals, called radar shaft, were found on and around the mutilated cattle. They disrupt radar frequencies for aircraft during covert operations. One reason Gabe Valdez thinks that it may be scientists mutilating these cattle is that they are testing to see if there is a correlation between radiation levels and cancer throughout the area. The radiation dates back to December 10, 1967, when Project Gas Buggy was executed just 25 miles south from the town.
I find it strange that cattle mutilation researchers, at least people that call themselves that, are in general not willing to consider the possibility of human involvement, at least any kind of widespread human involvement. And I don't have any explanation for that attitude except for that they must be invested in the UFO extraterrestrial explanation for these things.
Now, what I've seen in all these years, that the physical evidence that we found and the advanced technology that's going on, that's part of it.
In this lonely pasture,
they claim that the UFO beams this animal up. They do what they have to, then they bring them back and they drop them back in the field.
Jaw strip and tongue removed, surgical holes, rectal core, internal organs removed, eyes are removed, neat circular holes drilled through the center of the skull. Brain material is extracted via these holes. On the head and neck, 1 to 2 inch diameter shallow scoops through the skin with just a few millimeters of flesh removed. Inside these areas, smaller 1/4 inch diameter deeper holes can be found. Organs removed from the throat, such as the larynx and esophagus. A pair of small puncture wounds an inch apart in the ventral neck area, from which 100% of blood volume is extracted. There is no explanation of how this can be achieved.
Significant, what I consider, a smoking gun.
the Aaron cow mutilation last December in the San Luis Valley.
It's really pegging here.
Zukowski says he found a powerful electromagnetic field coming from the cow's carved-out head.
Out of the 4 other cases, I've never seen this before.
He caught it on tape.
What if the animal, at one point of its life, there was some type of a probe inserted?
Like someone wanted the cows to study them.
In a lot of cases where people have seen lights in the sky, they've seen craft.
It would explain some of the common patterns.
Now my theory is the open face wound, I think there was an implant in there.
These black programs, no congressional oversight. It goes way beyond the education, the agricultural funding. It's something that's exo-constitutional. There's no congressional oversight.
With so much money being spent on secret projects, something had to give. Schratt dug deep and turned up the records of top secret aircraft at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, California. What they look like and how they fly is, in one word, astounding. So tell me a little bit about the craft itself and what it can do.
Well, the next aircraft at the exhibit was the ARV, also known as the Alien Reproduction Vehicle. This particular aircraft represents America's ace in the hole. And if we spend just a minute breaking down some of the components, the upper crew compartment had a crew of 4. They used off-the-shelf components. There were 4 ejection seat systems. The crew compartment on the top section here had 6 CCD cameras and 1 on top for a total of 7. There was also a possible nuclear containment device at this lower section here. There was an articulated arm in this location right here. 3 of these aircraft were part of the exhibit at Norton Air Force Base, November 12, 1988. The smallest one was 24 feet in diameter. The next one was 60 feet in diameter. The largest was 130 feet in diameter. All craft had the capability of tapping into the ambient zero-point energy field, and they also had the capability of being to Mars and back by lunchtime.
Now listen carefully as Schratt describes another secret aircraft called the Pulsar. Imagine what this would look like doing a flyby over your house.
The other aircraft at this exhibit was an aircraft that we've termed the Pulsar. It measured approximately 100 feet in length. It was 65 feet wide. It looked like a flattened football diamond configuration, completely encased of external heat abrasive thermal resistant tiles taken directly off the space shuttle. It can target, track, and place a 1/10 megaton warhead anywhere in the world in less than 2 hours. 12,000 miles an hour is the top speed of the aircraft, and it really is the most fantastic aircraft in the inventory of the U.S. Air Force. Although the Pulsar has never been officially acknowledged by government facilities, the contrail for the Pulsar has been seen all around the world. When you pump in $400 billion per year on classified black programs, you're going to get something for it. You're going to get something for it, and they do. They do.
In all your research at the end of the day, do you think that most of what people report is actually military
Absolutely,
craft?
100%, 100%.
Do you believe in something that we don't know? Do you believe that there might be other
Ultimately,
craft?
there is a core of reality to all this, but it's my belief that 95% of what the public reports as UFOs is, in point of fact, military classified aircraft.
This is something that you asked about PLFs, what it stands for, a program life form. And beginning many decades ago, we developed a type of genetic cloning where they could simulate something that looks like an ET but isn't. And most people would be fooled by it, just like they would be fooled by one of Lockheed's anti-gravity propulsion devices, and they would think it's a, quote, well, it's a UFO because they don't know what it is, but it's not an ET craft. Similarly, there are these creatures that masquerade as ETs, but I call them aliens because I think alien is a xenophobic term like the N word or the F word for gay people. And so I always use the word ET and not alien because I think it's an intrinsically xenophobic negative term. But the point I'm making is that these creatures that have been made in a number of laboratories over the years and become better and better really do look like a non-human humanoid, but they're man-made. And these have been used in conjunction with these man-made anti-gravity devices to simulate things like abductions and mutilations